So you say you don't like Superman 4, huh? And that it's the worst of all the Superman movies starring Christopher Reeve? Well, I'd probably agree with you. But hey, here's the deal. We still love it. And did you know that Superman was supposed to not fight just the one nuclear man, but 2 nuclear men? Yeah, we're going to talk about that next here in the Poindexter Lounge and react to the deleted scenes. Stay tuned. What's up, nerd family? Welcome once again to the Poindexter Lounge. My name is Enosh, aka Enosh Fett, along with the lovely
Tiftastic.
and of course
Isaac Von Kenobi.
And today is a special day. I would say even a super day, because today we continue our series, Superman, What We Love About the Man of Steel. But before we jump into that, hey, if this is your first time to the lounge, just know this. The Poindexter Lounge is
a place for nerds.
That's right. It's a place where you and me and my crew can get together and talk about all the things that we love. Things like TV shows, games, movies, sci-fi, fantasy, superheroes, comic books, toys, and so much more. And if those are things that you're into, or even if you're into other stuff too, it doesn't really matter. We're into all things nerd. So if those are things that you like, please, we would love to have you here as a subscriber. So hit that subscribe button and also that notifications bell so that you know when we put out new videos, because that's how often?
All the time.
That's right. We don't even have a specific amount of time frame that we put out videos. We just call it all the time because we're constantly putting out new content for all of you. So we would love to have you along for the ride. So why don't you come along for this nerdy trip? It's pretty cool. All right. But hey, speaking of nerdy things, today is a day that we're talking about something about Superman that not a lot of people know. And we're continuing this, and we're going to react to this video. But, you know, last week we did this whole impromptu thing. Tiffany and I were doing our live stream of Clone Wars, and a subscriber named Palo20 mentioned the fact we were talking about Superman 4. We were talking about Superman movies in general. We got off on the topic of Superman because he's awesome. And we were talking about all the different Superman movies, and we came to Superman 4, and we talked about the fact that Superman 4 originally had a much bigger budget, had a lot more going for it, and just had a lot more scenes in it than what ended up in the movie itself. In fact, there was originally a scene planned where there was an original version of Nuclear Man that was completely different, that was more like, it was supposed to be like Bizarro. It was supposed to be like a Bizarro type of Superman, and you're going to see this here. But he was supposed to come first, and he was supposed to be like the not so right version of Nuclear Man. And then later we were supposed to get Dirt Man. But then we were supposed to get the version of Nuclear Man that we ended up seeing with the long blonde hair and, you know, and the claws and everything. Yeah. Why they didn't just call him Bizarro, because you already had a character that you could have used that would have served that purpose just fine. I don't know. They did the same thing in Superman 3 where they made a supercomputer, and instead of making it just Brainiac, they decided to do a bunch of other stuff. But the thing is Superman 4 gets a lot of bad rap. Now, Tiffany, when's the last time you watched Superman 4?
It's been a while.
It's been a while. How about you, Isaac?
I'd say around or at least 5 years.
Wow, 5 years. So we're going to have to rewatch those movies. Yeah. I watch those movies periodically. I've watched the Christopher Reeve Superman movies so many times in my life. I know those movies like the back of my hand. Even Superman 4, Superman 3, I get it. Superman 1 and 2 are very beloved, and they should be because they're good quality movies. Superman 3 starts to veer off into weird territory there for a minute, and Superman 4 just comes across as a B movie. But let's talk about why. So we all know not the Man of Steel movie. We all know the Masters of the Universe movie that ended up getting made with Dolph Lundgren. That movie was also made by Canon Films. Now, Eli and Alexander Salkind had the rights to the Superman films. They basically leased out those rights to Canon Films. Warner Brothers still distributed the movie, but that's why when you go back and you watch Superman 4, you go from Superman 3, even if you didn't like the movie, you gotta admit it's got some of the best flying scenes in all of these movies, because the crane work, the wire work with Christopher Reeve is amazing. The takeoffs and the flights, I mean, and the seamless times when he actually flies like across the street to go save the man in the car out of the water after he drove over the fire hydrant. Just very cool stuff. But Superman 4 is awful when it comes to the special effects. All the flying scenes are done with like projection. It's not even animation. It's basically they filmed it and then it looks so flat. They show Superman flying in space and it looks like a flat version of Superman flying forward. They reuse the same scene probably like 5 times in the movie, because they show him at the beginning flying towards the cosmonaut space station.
So is he a flat Clarker?
He's a flat Clarker, yeah. You gotta be careful how you say that so many times fast. But he flies there and it shows him and he's just, like that, but he's just a flat screen and he's kind of greenish. He's not even color corrected. He's just kind of
that.
Yeah.
Sky sick.
Yeah, and then again, even down in the subway, when the subway, the guy who's driving the subway keels over and the subway's out of control and Clark ends up flying and saving that. When it shows him flying to go save the subway, it's the same thing, just superimposed over that. I mean, literally, I think I could do better with my phone nowadays than what they did back then. And then again, when he's fighting Nuclear Man, it has that several times. There's one point where Nuclear Man kicks Superman, and it almost looks like they cut him out with paper. They're like, he's just a little paper, and you actually hear
like South Park.
That's what it's like. It's like Superman South Park, because he literally kicks him, and you hear Christopher Reeve go, "Oh," and they just kind of like go the other way, and it's hilarious. But it's one of the things that I love about it. It's part of my childhood that makes it enduring. But the problem is that there was actually a good story to Superman 4. Superman was doing what Superman should do in Superman 4, right? He was helping the world. His whole thing was to rid the world of nuclear weapons, and that's an admirable thing for Superman to do. He addressed his address of the United Nations is phenomenal. Even though the hairpiece wasn't that good on Christopher Reeve in that movie, the scenes where Clark is dating Lacey Warfield and Superman has a date with Lois Lane and Clark keeps going, back and forth. Those are great scenes right there. So there's a lot about Superman 4 that I absolutely love and is very enduring to me. But at the same time that they were making that, Canon Films was also trying to make Masters of the Universe, starring Dolph Lundgren as He-Man. They took a huge cut of Superman 4's budget and placed it into Masters of the Universe because they thought that Masters of the Universe was the place to put that movie. That's why that movie is more like Star Wars instead of Masters of the Universe, because you got laser blasts and you got basically stormtroopers and you got a bunch of craziness, and actually has, better special effects than Superman 4 because they placed that money there. Why they did that, I don't know, but it basically ruined Superman 4 and any chance probably of ever seeing a Superman 5 after that. That being said, I now can't watch Masters of the Universe without thinking, what could have been? Apparently, this scene that we're about to watch here, there's even more to this scene, and more that was written into this movie that was supposed to be kind of a big battle scene between Superman and the first Nuclear Man, because they were supposed to make Nuclear Man, Lex Luthor was supposed to make Nuclear Man, and that's what we were supposed to get first because it didn't take the first time. Right? And so then later we get the blonde version. But they were supposed to have a big battle scene in the city of Metropolis. Very much like Superman 2, where he fights General Zod and Non and Ursa. And so I've never actually... I think I've seen this once, and it was years ago. But thank you, Palo20, for sending me the link. Because we got to talking about this. And so Palo20 sent me the link to this. And so now we are going to watch this now, react to it, and then talk about what we think. All right, so sit back and enjoy as we watch the deleted Nuclear Man scenes from Superman 4. Oh, he just still looks good as Superman. Product placement. It seems like there'd be a better way to handle that, Superman.
Yeah.
Instead of crushing everybody's cars.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
But it was kung fu fighting.
You can definitely see the Bizarro references, though.
Yeah.
It's very derpy.
Very derpy. Got the high ground. American Express, a Slurpee. Wow.
Very derpy.
Where is this going? Oh my gosh.
It's not even like it had the trajectory of like just going like this, it went.
Yeah, right. Oh, so I wonder if this was originally where he was supposed to be on the moon with him instead of with the other nuclear man.
Yeah.
But look how good Christopher Reeve looks there. Like, nobody pulls off the regular spandex like Christopher Reeve did. Oh, I wonder if there's extra of this then.
Yeah.
It's all in slow motion. I always love that. He's floating off into the darkness. He looks like a wrestler. Here comes Superman. It's like the one good flying scene in this whole movie. Why does that hurt Superman? I never understood why it hurt Superman hits his head. And then I love this. He plants him in the moon. Superman would have to go stiff to make this work, but okay. Oh! So this is this is different, because it was that he got up out of there and put the flagpole back. Ooh!
Silver lady fingers. Force lightning?
That's just reversed.
Yeah. It's just, it's the same flying scene, it's flipped.
Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna fly back to Earth now. Oh wow, they really did mix this up. It's the same scene, cut over and over again. Wait, what? All they did was take that from there. The woman.
Come, I want you by my side.
I love the logic here. He's nuclear, man. So, block out the sun. Oh, man. There's the scene! There's that flying scene! The original how it should have ended.
Yep.
There's enough energy to power everything. Okay, so yeah, so that's that. Look, I get it. It's not brilliant,
Yeah.
right? But Tiff, we're gonna let you go first. What do you think? What do you think of watching that?
I haven't seen it. It's been a long time that I don't know what is there, like what was the movie and what wasn't. So
Okay. Yeah, you guys are gonna have to watch it again. I got all that down.
I remembered seeing the parts when he was on the moon and making sure that he adjusted the flag. I remembered him fighting the blonde dude on the moon, but I don't know if there's any things that were added or taken away. But it just reminds me of 70s, 80s cheese, like the way that it still came across.
1987.
I was 7.
You were 7. I remember going to see Superman 4 in the theater. I remember collecting the 7-Eleven Slurpee cups that had all the different scenes from Superman 4.
Right.
Yeah. I had a poster up on my wall that I actually found on eBay that I'm thinking about buying because it's only like $5, but it's a poster of him and Lois flying at night that's not even in the movie, but it's of Superman 4 that came from 7-Eleven. Yeah, because there was a huge tie with 7-Eleven. Obviously, there was a truck that drove by there in one scene that had a Slurpee on it, and there's American Express and the Burger King side and everything. There's some
Even
memories
back
there.
then, they were like breaking stuff down during their fights.
Yeah. So Isaac, what did you think watching this? I know it's been quite a while since you've seen the actual movie, but like just watching that, what does that do for you?
I could definitely see like the Bizarro similarities between the first Nuclear Man and the second.
Yeah.
DC.
Yeah.
But also one thing that I kind of realized, like, besides the cheesy stuff, is just how much like the fighting scenes have changed in movies for superhero movies. It's just like, as we saw in that first fight scene, it's like Superman just wouldn't walk up to the villain would just walk up to Superman. They'd like run towards each other, or like they'd like start flying towards each other.
Be some wide shot. And
Yeah.
they'd all come fast, really quick to each. They'd actually probably speed it up instead of slowing it down,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like I noticed like that has changed. It's like obviously besides like the visual stuff, like the flying scenes, like it's more detailed now.
Yeah.
But it's like that's just one like something that I kind of noticed is just the fighting scenes, like how much it's changed from like the Christopher Reeve Superman all the way to like now what we get in Marvel and DC movies.
Well, you know that wasn't stuntman. You know that they were, they weren't choreographed with stuntmen or whatever.
Yeah.
They were actually
Yeah.
doing their own scenes.
You know, but it's like now you wouldn't see like Superman getting his like face slammed into the earth. Like you see like something like he gets picked up and like thrown like down like through like the moon or something.
Yeah, stuffed into it and stuff
Yeah.
instead of that cheesy. Yeah, no, for sure. So when I see this, I am familiar enough with the movie that I do know what was cut differently and stuff, and they in the original movie that they got him walking up, but then when he gets stuffed into the earth, Nuclear Man takes off. Or sorry, in the moon. Sorry, thank you. When he gets stuffed into the moon, Nuclear Man takes off because he thinks that he's able to get away, and Superman breaks up just like through there. But it's always cut weird because like Superman's first thing is like he gets up out of the ground and he immediately puts the flag in first. You know, like that's the American thing to do. You got to put the flag in first before you go after the bad guy.
That's his priority.
Yeah, that's his priority, and so he does that, and then he flies after Nuclear Man, and and then Nuclear Man, they have that exchange. What's weird is they cut it weird because you could see that Nuclear Man was under him, as he was looking at Nuclear Man, and Nuclear Man was flying. Well, that's the time where you're supposed to look over his shoulder, and he goes, and then he flies, and he goes after Lacey Warfield, played by Mariel Hemingway, because he's got this infatuation with her, and so he goes to find her, and Superman is trying to keep them apart from each other, and that's when Nuclear Man finally pierces Superman's skin by scratching him on the neck, makes him sick. And then it's weird because there's a whole weird storyline where they bring back the green crystal from Superman 1 and 2 that was with him, that gave him back his powers in Superman 2 that was only supposed to be a one-time thing, and somehow...
Which is why it was a sacrifice for him.
Somehow he got the green crystal again at the end. When
It was
like
a
all
mulligan
sick.
sacrifice.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. Like he finds the crystal again on the Kent farm and stuff. It's continuity, man, did not mean a thing back then.
Yeah.
You were not going to win any arguments with continuity back then.
Yeah, now it's like you get like 10 years of story build up.
Yeah, but the thing is that it's cheesy. Yes. Is it kind of hokey? Yes. Are the special effects bad? Yes.
Now they are.
But now they are. But yeah, like you said, like back then, back then probably they were even a little cheesy. But the thing, you could tell that they were cheesy, right?
It wasn't like top line back then, but it wasn't like low budget back then.
Yeah, it wasn't Star Wars, right? But even Star Wars wasn't the Star Wars we know today, right? Because there was no special edition of Superman 4. But I love stuff like this. But watching the Nuclear Man 1 scenes, you see like he's kind of, like you said, he's kind of derpy. He's kind of, he jumps up on the thing. Come on, and so you can see that like that'd be a Bizarro thing to do. He's wearing a weird suit, which is supposed to be kind of like the Lex Luthor thing, because Lex Luthor wears a shiny suit. And for all of you Supergirl fans, we didn't watch a scene with this, but this is the first time we got to meet Lenny Luthor, played by John Cryer.
Lenny
Luthor.
My name's Lenny.
Lex Luthor's nephew, played by John Cryer in Superman 4. So, and he talks like this, dude. It's like, whoa, dude. Like, wait till we watch this movie together, because I'll be reciting like all
Oh my gosh, it's on TV.
Whoa.
He will turn it on, and then he will verbatim say every line while I'm sitting there trying to watch it.
Hello, Dolly. Hello, Dolly. It's so nice to have me right back where I belong. Hey, Big Blue. Anyway, so you know what? It is what it is. It's so funny to know all the things that came from this movie. I mean, it was the return of Gene Hackman to the Superman movies after not being there in Superman 3 when he probably should have been the villain of Superman 3, but they kind of replaced him. But it was still even so, and even though it's all those things, they tried. Yeah. And Christopher Reeve even had a part in the story, for this movie. It's just it's unfortunate that Canon Films decided to go on the cheap.
Yeah.
And that they didn't do a good job with this. And it's but it's fun because we can look back now as fans and get we're smiling about it. Yeah. Right? I can't hate on it because it is what it is.
Because the money went to the Power of Grayskull.
Yeah. Well, the other night I came downstairs and Landon, as you all know here on the channel, he was watching Batman and Robin with a friend of his, which is quite frankly one of the worst superhero movies. Now, what it is about Part 4s, I don't know, but it's quite frankly one of the worst superhero movies. But you know what? It's a special place for him because he's just like, I want to watch it, And so when we look back on some of these things, everything in a character's past is not going to be pristine and beautiful and awesome and wonderful. but there's going to be these things that are nostalgic. They tug on our heartstrings. I can still watch this and enjoy it and like it and have fun with it. And,
Just like when we watched the Mr. Rogers movie, just seeing like the porch swing, it's like you get that feeling in your chest of just like, I remember where I was, what I was doing the first time I watched it.
Yeah.
The emotions it evokes in you. So
Yeah.
I mean, that's what Superman is to you.
Yeah. And so if you're watching this, Superman must mean something to you too, because that's the title of the video. So I would love to hear your memories of Superman 4 and what you think of this movie. What do you think of some of the characters in this movie? What are some of your favorite scenes from this movie? I love it when the kid when the kid's being interviewed and everybody wants to know what Superman said, and he's just like, just said I wish Superman would have said yes, and then they go to the newspaper and says Superman says drop dead, kid. I love when Clark is gonna go tell Lacey Warfield off, and tell her that that they're that the Daily Planet has been a huge institution, that is gonna be full of respect and all this stuff, and he kind of gets nervous. That's what I loved about his Clark Kent, because you can never really tell like when he was being serious of the nerd and when it was just really Superman's by golly coming out, but I really like the movie. I love the workout scene where Clark is working out with Lacey Warfield, and he's acting like he's all weak and stuff, and he tries to push down on the thing, and he stiffens his arm so it just lifts him right back up, and he doesn't do anything, and there's this guy who's just a real jerk who's trying to work Clark out and everything, and he gives some barbells to Clark, and Clark gets the barbell and just like drops right, and he tells him, no pain, no gain, Clarky, and then later Lacey like is gonna go off to the Metropolis Club where this battle was supposed to ensue. Here there was a whole nightclub scene, I guess, that never got shot, but when she tells Clark, I'm going to take you to the Metropolis Club, he's trying to be like, wait, what? And the guy says, hey, Clark, can you hand me that those barbells? And Clark's like, hey, Lacey, wait, and he just tosses it to him like it's nothing. I mean, Superman doing stuff that like Superman just, I don't know if Superman would necessarily do, putting this guy in danger, throwing weights at a guy, and the guy like catches him and like falls back over, and Clark just looks at him and goes, no pain, no gain? It's just, Christopher Reeve was just a different Superman for a different time.
Yeah.
But man, even in this cheesy stuff, seeing him just walk out, what's that? Oh, that's a different story for a different time. They just told that story, by the way. But he was a different Superman for a different time. But the thing is Superman, when he walked out, even in these scenes, he looked like Superman.
Yeah.
He was Superman.
Spandex, no bodysuit, no muscle suit.
Right?
Just all pure Reeve.
Yeah, I mean, what do you think about when you see that, Tiff? I mean,
100%
just
Reeve.
100% grade A Reeve in that spandex. I mean, he filled out that costume well for just being spandex. I've seen actually that exact costume, that Superman 4 costume, on display. When I was a kid, they had a traveling museum exhibit of Superman 4, and so I got to see that costume. And man, that's all it is. It's spandex, And nowadays they wouldn't go out. It's got to be all rubber or leather or whatever, Yeah, I mean,
Like,
and
Henry Cavill is like a multi-layered of defense spandex.
yeah, and I mean, by the time they got to the Justice League suit, they didn't make any bones about it. I mean, and Henry Cavill's a huge dude. He's ripped, but they still had muscles, and and they still had definition in it and everything.
Yeah.
But by the time they got to that Justice League suit, it's stretched out over those pads and stuff, so you see those silver pads through it and everything. But man, Christopher Reeve just walked out there in some spandex and said, hey, here I am. And he looked like he stepped literally right out of the comic.
He does.
Yeah.
And
his look, his face, the shape, the hair, the everything.
yeah, so. But hey, we would love to hear what you guys have to say about Superman 4 and about your love for Superman. So let us know down in the comment section, or of course follow us on social media where we can keep the conversation going. I would love to have these kind of conversations with you via social media, and you can share with me your memories and share with us your memories of Superman 4, maybe going to the theater, maybe seeing it at the drive-in, maybe, who knows how you saw Superman 4, maybe on VHS for the first time, or maybe you're younger and you've just now discovered these movies. Yeah, well, hey, let us know down in the comments section. We would love to hear from you, and also follow us on social media, and let's keep the conversation going. Also, thank you to all of our patrons who support the channel. If you're in a position where you can, we would love to have you as part of this growing community that way, and helping us out to always upgrade things around here. Here are our patrons. Thank you guys. You guys rock. Also, we do have a merch store that you can find stuff down in the merch store. We would really appreciate it if you'd pick something up there, and you can find all those right there down in the description below. Well, hey, this is our second episode of Things We Love About the Man of Steel, and I gotta say, I love Superman 4. I do. It's got a special place in my heart. All right, guys. Until next time, my name is Enosh, aka Enosh Fett, along with the lovely
Tip-tastic.
and of course
Isaac Juan Kenobi.
saying, I just wish Superman would have said yes. Drop dead, kid. Till next time, bye-bye. Hey guys, if you made it this far in the video, you are awesome. Thank you guys so much for your support. Please smash that like button and of course subscribe, and also hit that notifications bell so that you are aware when we put out new videos, which is like all the time. Thanks for being a part of the Poindexter Lounge, and we'll see you next time.